to the Starfighter Podcast.
All right, guys, let's get into our Bad Batch episode 11 review. We'll do a fairly quick review of this. Let's just jump right in. Initial thoughts for the episode. I really enjoyed it. I mean, we get to see Hera come back from Rebels, and I thought that was really great. If you don't know who Hera is, I mean, you get an introduction to her younger self here in this episode, and spoiler, but she goes on to become one of the best rebel pilots in the galaxy.
Yeah, for sure.
She's mentioned in Rogue One. She's an awesome character, and we definitely see like we definitely get the impression from her here that just really ambitious and inspires to be a great pilot. That's a small theme of this episode too, which I thought was really great. But those are kind of just like my initial takeaways of the episode. And then lastly, I'll say, some of these themes as well with Ryloth and with the Empire taking over and wanting them to give up their arms. Really interesting as well. Just like, again, the Empire, we've been getting multiple episodes, even though some of them are shorter. The Empire is just really showing that they want to like fully take control. But Jake, how do you like this episode?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was a little bit bummed out that we didn't get to see as much of the Bad Batch as we usually get to see. But it was really interesting seeing that backstory and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for sure. Just I need my Bad Batch crew.
Yeah, we do get to see him a little bit later for just a second. But Ethan, let's get your initial thoughts, and I'm anxious to hear if you have any takes on Captain Hauser, because I think that his character was very cool and interesting, and I think could really add to the overall story here.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting, kind of like Jake, I wasn't expecting them to do like a full Hera episode pretty much. I thought that was interesting, and I do think it's useful for the fact that there's probably people that haven't seen Rebels, but or maybe just for the people that want more like Hera backstory that did see Rebels, So I'm kind of curious as to why. Like, I don't know if they're going to try to have her be a part of the story more, because you'd kind of think that that they're going to try to like introduce this stuff more, because I feel like that might be the case here, but then like who knows. But I just don't really remember her view on like clones and stuff back in Rebels, so it's hard for me to tell if like what's gonna happen with all that. And then Captain Hauser, so he's the clone, right?
Yeah, I'll bring it up right here.
Yes.
Dude, this turquoise design for his suit and helmet, he's like possibly the sickest looking trooper I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not part of the 501st Legion with Rex either. Rex's Legion is more of a dark blue, and Hauser, it's not the best lighting in the
like
picture, but his is more of a turquoise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's funny because there's so many clones like this in Clone Wars where it's just like they come out of nowhere and they just look sick, and like there's likable characters. And I thought he was a little interesting considering like he didn't really act like he was like full on like Order 66 like throughout all this.
Yeah, that's what's really interesting.
Like he wasn't like dry like all the other clones have been or anything like that. Like he was actually like empathetic and all that. Like he was like giving them chances and everything and like not being a jerk.
Yeah, his conscience is still working.
Yeah. So I think it'd be cool. I just want there to be like more clones and stuff in general. I think he's unique enough to like you could maybe see him like in the future. The thing is too, it's like there's been so many cool clones in Clone Wars that they just didn't do anything with. So I'm like, I feel like we're probably it's like gonna be like a one and done with them, sadly. Unless we like go visit Hera again or something like that. So who knows? But yeah, I think he'll. I don't know. I'm sure we'll see him at some point, especially if there's like a season 2 or something like that. But
Yeah, and I think we'll see Hauser in next week's episode most likely as well.
yeah.
Ethan, did you maybe want to expand on this scene just a little bit more and kind of how it ties into the story for episode 11?
Yeah. So I can't remember the senator's name. Do you remember what the blue guy's name is, where he looks like the chef from Ratatouille?
It starts with a T. It starts with a T, I believe.
It's one of our trivia questions.
No shot.
It may have to be though. But yeah, the blue
But
senator there.
I got this. Orm Free Ta. Okay, yeah, that guy.
There.
All right.
Orm Free Ta.
All right, and then there's Chom Syndulla, and then there's Hera's mother. I don't remember what her name is though. But so it's kind of always been in the Clone Wars. So Orm Free Ta is like he was always in Coruscant, but like no one ever wanted. Like he was never like the real like senator. It felt like, or like they're like true like the people didn't like him at all. They always like Cham Syndulla, which is Hera's father, and he's the orange Twi'lek. So they all kind of rallied behind him because he like actually stayed on planet and like fought the war and all that. Where Orm Free Ta did no fighting at all and kind of just ate in Coruscant. So yeah, and so basically Orm Free Ta was all trying to like rally the people behind the Empire and all that. Just for like peace, and basically the Empire is trying to control. So they're trying to tell the people that this is what they fought for, and now they get like peace and security and all that, and they can like live happily. And so Cham Syndulla actually agrees with this. So he came out and spoke to the people, and they actually listened. And so it was kind of just, it doesn't really seem like something this character would have done, like knowing him from the Clone Wars. Because he didn't really like the Republic's like rule over things. So why would he like the Empire? But it seems like he's kind of just tired of fighting at this rate, and so he was like kind of just over it all. But that went super well for him. And then there's just one scene in this episode I really want to talk about, like really, really want to talk about. And
yeah, real quick. I was just gonna say real quick that again, it's definitely sketchy how the Empire is like telling everyone on Ryloth, we're gonna protect you. Like, you guys don't need to worry anymore. Just give up like all your weapons and like protection and stuff, and just like put your full trust in us because we've got your back. But just like no worries going forward. We've got your back. And
yeah, totally.
Once Hera's dad steps in, and that's when like he really gets the crowd behind them. And it was also noteworthy that both Hera's dad and then Hera's mom, the two weren't seeing eye to eye when it came to what was going on with the Empire. They're both like kind of at odds. And then the other direction that this episode goes is that his name escapes me, but he's basically he's kind of like an uncle figure for Hera. It's one of her father's good friends.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
And so he like kind of takes Hera under his wing a little bit, and he's basically a rebel already, is the impression that I got.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like having Hera help him in like these rebel type side quests. And what's in it for Hera is that she can get more training on being a pilot. And so that's why I don't know if she's necessarily like so much like a rebel at heart herself just yet. I think it's more so she's just really excited to become a pilot and learn as much as she can. So
Hmm.
that has to do quite a bit with this episode is diving into that angle. But yeah, tell us
Yeah, for
about
sure.
the best scene.
The best scene. I might not be thinking of the same scene, but this is why this show will always feel, I think, more like Clone Wars to me, and it's because Orn Free Ta literally got headshot on camera. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
don't. That was. I don't know. They had their confrontation at the end though, and they all kind of fought
Yeah,
out
I
for a
wouldn't
bit.
say that was necessarily the best
That
scene, but
that was my favorite. That was my favorite scene. No, I hate the guy, but no, they all fought out, and it was kind of funny because they were just like they kind of like trapped them in a way. Like they kind of had this plan or whatever. Like the Empire was kind of a step ahead in general, and so they knew that these rebels were trying to basically get back Hera. God, I keep forgetting the brother's name. I want to find it so bad. But they were
yeah,
escorting
he's
them.
right here.
Yeah, I can't remember the brother's name. But oh yeah, by the way, Bad Batch is already out of the episode by this point. They were in this scene and then they were gone. And so
Well, should
they
we
weren't.
also mention that Hera gets to meet Omega,
She does meet Omega. This
and
is true.
that was really cool.
That was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Which is why I feel like they might like see each other in the future or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it would make the most sense.
I think it would be great, and again, not a lot of people, if you haven't seen Rebels, will really know about Hera, but she is one of the main characters in Rebels, and she's one of the coolest characters in Rebels, rightfully so. Again, she becomes one of the best fighter pilots in the galaxy for the Rebel Alliance, and she also helps basically the birth of the Rebel Alliance, along with Jyn Erso from Rogue One.
It's Gobi. That's the blue Twi'lek
Thank
guy.
you. Yeah, so
Gobi.
Gobi and his wife, they're definitely on some like rebel type side quests, and Hera agrees to tag along and help out because she's in it for the pilot training. But we definitely know that she'll start to see things from the rebel side, their perspective, and I think to an extent she already does, but she's a kid right here, so she's still kind of growing up.
I mean,
Yeah.
does anyone else think that guy is like a terrible influence on her? He's like, well, she's like, I don't want to go. Like, I can't go. And he's like, well, I was going to let you pilot. She's like, oh, okay, I'll go. He's like, all right. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, he's a little weird.
he put her in
Yeah,
danger, man.
maybe he's a little bit more like Saw Gerrera, like extremist type of thing, like
Mhm.
basically do anything for the cause type of guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I think we can kind of start to wrap things up here with this review. So the way it closes out is Hera and Gobi and his wife, they kind of get like captured by the Empire. Hera's parents come to help out, and it looks like they're going to be able to save them, but then the Empire ends up taking her parents away. The Empire takes her parents, but Hera manages to run away. So I feel like we're going to pick right back up here next week, and my prediction is that, or this week, I'm sorry, and my prediction is that the Bad Batch is going to come and help out Hera, and maybe we'll get a Hera and Omega team up.
That's very likely.
But any final thoughts you guys wanted to throw out there? Was there anything you had, Jake?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm enjoying it so far, and we'll just see where it ends. I'm curious to see if there's gonna be season 2 and what they do with all the clones, because obviously we know that there's no more clones in Star Wars Episode 4. So I'm wondering if they just kill them all or what they're going to do with it. So excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I think they could be headed into some kind of Camino uprising
Okay.
with the Kaminoans and the Empire, something
Mhm.
like that.
One thing I thought would happen, and maybe it's just a Battlefront thing, but in Battlefront 2, you had to go back and fight all the clones that were like bad and stuff, or like the clones that like weren't going with Order 66 or whatever. I think something like that could be very plausible.
Yeah.
But like a fight on Camino would be cool.
Well, yeah, I think it was a really good episode overall. I would say 4, maybe 5 out of 5 for me. I don't know if you guys want to give it a quick rating, and then we'll move
5 out of 5.
I'll give it a 1 out of 5. I'll even the scales.
Nice.
So it's about a
Unbelievable.
3.5 out of 5.
You said
No, it's good.
3.5?
Yeah, it was a solid 3-4 for me out of 5.
Maybe
Oh.
if you had a little more attachment to Hera,
Yeah.
you'd be kind of on the same page. But I think that's the payoff for people who are, really caught up with like Rebels and stuff. But yeah, good episode overall. Looking forward to this week. Hopefully, seeing the Bad Batch come to Hera's side, help her get her parents back. That'll be really cool to see. But all right, moving on.